should be a win. The King of Champions. The last one standing is Cuban. He does the job that he needs to do and get that fight on the exit. Absolutely brilliant.
We just witnessed the greatest moment in world history as an esport. It was absolutely incredible.
Overcome the biggest team to win the Intel Extreme Masters.
So, welcome to the drawings from the Intel Extreme Masters Global Challenge at Cologne. Joining me is the Director of Pro Gaming, a shiny new title, Cormac, that you've got going on there. This first event coming up in Season 6, excited much?
Very. I mean, it's the opening of the season. Cologne, we've always had fantastic global challenges. First time League of Legends, StarCraft 2. If you remember, last season we were the first major event for StarCraft 2 that ever happened, and it was a major success. I'm hoping that we will repeat it.
So we're going to be starting off here with League of Legends. We will have Rotterdam coming in a little bit later on to bring you the StarCraft 2 groups. But we've got the situation as as follows. 2 pools. We will have 2 groups at Gamescom. The two pools are as follows. Pool A, Millennium, Fnatic, SK Gaming, and Solo Mid. So you could probably call that the high pool, although I'm sure some of the teams in the Pool B would have something to say about that. And Pool B is Counterlogic Gaming, Adversa, Aeon, and Alternate, who were just announced to be picked up by Alternate just a couple of hours ago. So what we're going to do, Carmack, is start with Pool B, keep those Pool A teams for a little bit later on. It was actually our director who said it probably is going to keep it a little bit more tense if we go with the Pool B first and the Pool A after. So why don't we just get straight into it and start off with the first team from Pool B. We will be drawing every team from Pool B and alternating them. So the first team will go to Group A, and of course the second into Group B. So he's struggling to get in there a little bit. And first team out is Alternate. Of course, they are the reigning champions of the host nation of the Global Challenge in Cologne, obviously after their performance in the EPS Germany last season. And they will be going into Group A. And I have been tasked with keeping a note of this one for later on. So, second team. This team will go over into Group B. We have Counterlogic Gaming, Adversa, and Aeon left from this pool. And it is, I can't actually see.
Adversa.
Adversa, okay.
It's Adversa, the Polish team, if I'm correct.
Yeah, you are correct. They actually won their lower bracket game to get through against W4T in 24 minutes over the 2 games that they won. W4T actually were quite far behind and decided not to carry on playing at that stage. So here we go then. Let's take the second team that will join Alternate in Group A.
By the way, just as a reminder, $32,000 prize money.
Something that I didn't mention. And that team will be Aeon going into Group A. So Alternate and Aeon, the 2 teams that will be in Group A. And obviously that leaves us with the second team to come over into Group B. And it should be Counterlogic Gaming unless we did something wrong. But Carmack's going to show you that one anyway. Yeah, there we go.
CLG.
So we have just a couple of different rules in terms of which teams can go into which group over both games. For League of Legends, the only rule is that Counterlogic Gaming and Team Solo Mid can't be in the same group. So if they get drawn in the same group, we will throw them over into the other side. So that's the first 4 teams out. So far, we've got Group A, Alternate and Aeon, and Group B, Adversa and CLG. And now we move on to the big boys, most people would say. Millennium, Fnatic, SK Gaming, and Team Solo Mid.
Joe, by the way, do you remember last time we did this, we made a bet?
Yeah, it's not going to happen today.
Not going to happen
No.
today. So for those of you guys who don't know, Joe made a very foolish bet and ended up being topless at the Intel Extreme Masters European Championship. You can look it up on YouTube. Meanwhile, the first team that goes to the Global Challenge Group A with Alternate and Aeon, that would be Millennium.
Yeah, of course, we saw them coming through the qualifiers, played a really solid game. Obviously, they had to do it through the lower bracket in the end, but they got there, and that's what the the whole point is. So let's take out who will go into Group B with Adversa and CLG. If it happens to be Team Solo Mid, then they'll drop in actually in complete Group A already. Well, let's see. And that team won't be TSM. It will be Fnatic. So Fnatic dropping in there with CLG. Of course, Fnatic, the Season 1 champions for League of Legends after their victory at DreamHack. Now we have left SK and TSM, which actually we can only have one possible outcome for this one because TSM can't go into the Group B. So this team that comes out is SK Gaming, and they will have to go over into Group B, which will mean that the final team to come out, Team Solo Mid, will be over in Group A. So they're the groups. Actually, some really great groups. I kind of like the fact, and there we go, Team Solo Mid. I like the fact that we've got Fnatic versus SK again in the group stages. Always a great, great game to see. They came through, obviously, the qualifier, both teams into the upper bracket, didn't lose a game. So they're looking on great form. We saw last night SK in the EMS beating Wizards 2-1. They're going to play Team Solo Mid coming up soon. So lots of really great action going on. Group A, just to recap, Alternate, Aeon, Millennium, Team Solo Mid. Group B, Adversa, Counterlogic Gaming, Fnatic and SK Gaming. So some really great ones there. A lot of people really excited, I know, to see Aeon and how they're doing. Obviously, to see the Asian teams come over, we don't get to see much of them, due to the fact that the replay system is still in its infancy and the spectator mode's not so, there for everyone in League of Legends. So a lot of people interested to see how Aeon are going to do. Unfortunately, in the Season 1 championships, the Asian teams kind of bombed out at the first stage, even though they did cause a first game upset over against All Authority, which, Millennium now. No, against TSM, I should say. I'll tell a lie. So some really, really great groups. We're going to be seeing Millennium versus TSM, probably the game of Group A. Group B will obviously be all about Fnatic versus SK and also CLG against the two big European teams. But don't forget, Adversa are there as well. So maybe some Polish power to come through at Gamescom and cause some upsets. So that's League of Legends, Carmack. I think we should not really hang around. We're going to go to a quick break, but when we come back, it will be the StarCraft 2 groups, and Rotterdam is going to be taking my place.
Absolutely incredible.
Overcome the biggest team to win the Intel Extreme Masters!
Alright guys, welcome back to the drawings of the Intel Extreme Masters Global Challenge Cologne. Before you saw Joe Miller, now it's of course me, Kevin van der Kooi, also known as Rotterdam. That means we are going to do the StarCraft 2 drawings. With me is still the Managing Director of Pro Gaming, Carmack, also known as?
Michal Blihaj.
Michal Blihaj, that's a tough name for me. So guys, we are going to do the StarCraft 2 drawings. We have 16 players again, just like last year, and last year was amazing, wasn't it?
It was absolutely epic. Everyone remembers Morrow winning as Terran. Obviously, then because of this, he became the infested Terran. He plays Zerg now. We had Idra, we had Tarson. Some of the players are coming back, actually. Yeah. Tarson, who else? Idra's coming back, and I guess only those guys, but...
no, those are the only ones, actually. Unless, no, you're right. Those
Tarson
are the only
and
ones.
Idra, the only ones that managed to come back. Many people have actually tried. We've had qualifiers, very, very tough ones. White Ra didn't make it.
A couple of people came close, like Morrow, for instance, as well, had a good run trying to defend his title, but did not manage to go. Yeah, in the previous weeks, we hosted the qualifiers, at least the Europeans one. That's the one that I casted. 3 weeks on a row, 7 Europeans managed to qualify. Soccer already got invited for being the reigning champion of the hosting nation, Germany. Then we had 2 American players as well. They managed to qualify. 1 Southeast Asian player, which is Moonglade, actually, who was not there last year, but he was actually present at the Intel Extreme Masters World Championships. We have Love CD, who's actually the brother of Sky. Now, everyone who played Warcraft 3 will remember Sky.
Double World Cyber Games champion.
Yeah, almost triple, and just basically pretty much won everything that there was to win in Warcraft 3. So that's awesome. And yeah, then we have a couple of the Europeans. We're going to go through them soon. And then last but not least, we're going to invite 4 Koreans, which we did not announce as of yet.
Okay, so just a quick reminder of how it works. We've got 16 players, or in every global challenge, a minimum of 50% of participants come from the continent that hosts the global challenge. And out of that 50%, 1 participant always represents the host nation. The other 50% or less comes from other continents. So America, South America, North America, South America, Asia. Nothing else, I guess, to say about that. So
yeah, I guess we can start. Of course, a small reminder is that the prize money for this year is going to be 21,000 USD, and the first prize will walk away with 6,500. All the players who are at the Global Challenge get a minimum of $600, and after that it can only get better. So yeah, Carmack, I'd say let's start with Pool A. Pool A consists of Tarzan, Kaz, Soccer, and Stefano. So of course, Soccer being the reigning champion of the hosting nation, so he got invited. Saze managed to qualify in the second qualifier together with Nurcho. Tarzan got very close several times. In the end, he did manage to grab that spot. And then we have Stefano, one of the most talented players in Europe, without a doubt. First time we're going to see him at this big of a stage. I mean, sure, we saw him at the Home Story Cup, but that's still a little bit more casual. Now we're really going to see him where it matters. So really excited about that as well.
So Group A, by the way, we cannot have more than 2 players of the same race in every group. So as soon as we hit a 3rd player, we will automatically move him to the next group, which would have him, so to speak, according to those rules, which doesn't break things. So the first player in Group A is, that's a Ukrainian beast.
Yes.
It's Kaz.
The destroyer of worlds is how I also call him. He is amazing. Kaz managed to qualify straight away in the first European qualifier. Very convincing. Did have a very close series together against MTW Reen. But nevertheless, Kaz is just such a strong player. And it's really awesome to have him here.
Group B, first player. That would be the player who everybody remembers from the awesome playoff for at CeBIT at the Intel Extreme Masters World Championship when they played a million games. Who was it? That was
Show,
Squirtle, in soccer.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing, epic StarCraft 2 right there.
Esport history last year at the World Championships was absolutely awesome. I was casting. First, I was afraid I wouldn't be casting anymore, and then I still casted 5 overtime. So I was like, yes.
Then drunk Tarzan.
Third player is Tarzan. Some people always think he's drunk, even though he really drinks. Awesome guy, very cool to have him. He's a guy, I read one tweet after he qualified, and then people said like, yes, Tarzan qualified. It wouldn't be an IEM event without Tarzan. And I think that's pretty much true. I mean, he was at the Global Challenge, he was at Kiev, managed to get top 4, went to the World Championship finals in Hanover, and now he's here again. So.
Barely didn't make it, and he needed 4 match balls, so to speak, to qualify here. And the 4th guy, obviously, is Stefano. That's quite obvious that his name would pop up.
Yep. So, well, all right. Still, of course, we can't say much about it, but very curious to see how Pool B is going to turn out. A couple of perhaps surprising names I don't think a lot of people would have expected BCQT to qualify, or perhaps even Nurcho, or Dystar for sure. But if you follow the European scene closely for a longer time, then you know that these guys, they really are on top of the European scene. Saze is not a surprise for me, perhaps, if you've been away for a while, and like, hey, where did Saze suddenly come from? But lately, such a stunning player, but same goes for the other 3 guys, so really curious to see how we're going to split them up. So I'd say let's go, Carmack.
All right, then. Let's see. The first player who will join Kaz, and by the way, in every group, there's a Korean automatically placed. We haven't announced the invitations yet, therefore we cannot place the names there, but there's 1 Korean in every group. And joining Kaz will be...
Ooh, that's awesome. 2 teammates, both representing Team Empire. BCQT, of course, from Serbia, for the people who are still not that familiar with him. Some little thing I would like to say that I think is really cool. BCQT never actually went to a big international LAN. And first he didn't even qualify, didn't play in the first qualifier. I was like, hey man, why aren't you playing? And he's like, oh yeah, I kind of forgot. I will definitely try next week. Then when he qualified, I was like, hey man, and are you happy? He's like, yeah, of course I'm happy. He's like, I jumped up, I grabbed my fist, and he's like, I'm going to practice so hard. I'm not going to be like those other guys who go to a tournament and say, I didn't practice so much. He's like, no, I'm going to practice all the time. And I was like, okay, that's cool. So awesome, very motivated, and yeah, very interesting to see him.
Joining soccer, it will be...
Ooh, Dystar. Dystar, of course, from Poland as well. Managed to qualify in the first qualifier already. That was a little surprising, even though he's a very good player. Not many people would have expected him to qualify at his first attempt. But yeah, he's just a very solid player overall. Certainly his talent versus Protoss is really quite scary. So Soccer's gonna have his hands full on that. But on the other hand, Soccer's Protoss versus Terran is really good too. So awesome encounter in Pool B.
Actually, in this Pool B, except for Nurture, every player beat Tarzan in the qualifier to qualify.
Yeah, that's correct. Poor Tarzan. So it's going to be Sazo and Nurcho for Pool C.
And it is?
Nurcho.
It's Nurcho.
So we have 2 Polish players in Group C right now. Nurcho, just incredible strong Zerg, perhaps the Zerg with the strongest Zerg versus Terran in Europe. Lately, certainly in online tournaments, he's been absolutely amazing and really cool to have him here as well. Same for BCQT, never qualified for a massive international tournament.
Obviously, the 4th guy was Sasa.
Ooh.
So let's really quickly go through each group.
Group A, we have Kaz and BCQT, 2 Terrans, both representing Team Empire, one from Serbia, one from Ukraine. Group B, we have Soccer and Dystar, of course, Germany and Poland. Group C, we have the 2 Polish guys, Tarzan and Nurcho. Then in Group D, we have Stefano and Sasa. And Stefano and Sasa, it's a really cool PvZ as well. I'm looking forward to that one already. 2 of perhaps the most talented players in Europe right now.
All right, so we've got Pool C. Select Idra Moonglade and Love CD, who is Sky's brother. Absolutely awesome if he manages to place top 4.
Yeah, who apparently plays Protoss, so that's cool as well. I spoke with Sky back then, and Sky said, yeah, I've been playing a little bit, and he was playing Terra, so his brother is Protoss. That's cool. Of course, we have the 2 Americans right now, and the 1 player representing Southeast Asia being Moonglade. And
so for Group A.
Ooh, so Idra is joining the likes of Kaz and BCQT. I think Idra would be quite satisfied with that. I mean, we all know that Idra isn't the biggest fan of Protoss. Right now he's joined up with 2 Terrans. Nevertheless, 2 of Europe's best Terrans. But still, I think Idra should be able to live with that one.
I think so.
Both these guys have an excellent TVZ as well, though. Both Kaz and Beastie, so it's going to be awesome matches.
Joining Soccer and Dystar, it will be.
Select. Of course, the American Korean.
World Cyber Games champion, I think a couple of times actually.
2 times.
Dawn of War.
Dawn of War 40k. So yeah, we have 2 Terrans and 1 Protoss right now. Group B. Soccer, Dystar and Select.
Joining Tarzan and Nurcho will be.
Ooh, Moonglade. Gets sparred with the 2 Polish players. As you can already notice, we have a lot of Polish participants at this global challenge. You must be proud, Karmik.
Yeah, and actually, I'm not biased at all. Actually, the first stand-in for the tournament, should any European drop out, that is Mana. So another Polish player, and Love CD joins Stefano and Sasa in Group D. Very interesting groups.
Definitely. I mean, all of the players are awesome, and it's going to be even more awesome when we know the Korean invites. Could you tell us a little bit, perhaps a small sneak peek, when can we expect the names to pop up?
Well, we know the names.
Okay.
We're currently talking to our good friends at GomTV to make sure that the schedules of the GSL would allow it. So expect updates coming this week.
All right, well, that's going to be awesome in any case. I'm really satisfied with the groups. I think we have awesome matchups. Curious to see how Moonglade is going to fare against the 2 Polish guys. Well, he should be able to do well. I mean, he's been practicing a lot. I think Group D looks really, really interesting, at least from a personal point of view. Sasa, Stefano, and then the brother of Sky, who's another Protoss. Stefano, who has an awesome Zerg versus Protoss. So if you ask me, we're going to see amazing games. That's pretty much all I can say about it.
Let's hope for that.
All right. So, guys, 17th till 21st of August, Global Challenge Cologne. These guys are going to be there. More updates will follow regarding the Korean players. This was it for us. Do you have any last words? Anything you can tease us with?
No, just find us on Twitter and on Facebook. Twitter would be twitter.com/IntelEM. Facebook would be facebook.com/IEMTV. That's it. Just you'll find all the updates there, and of course on www.intelextrememasters.com.
All right, guys. Hope you're as happy with the drawings as we are. That was it for us. Good night, and see you again next time.
This has been a win. The King of Champions. The last one's done in his movement. He does the job that he needs to do and get that fight on the exit. Absolutely brilliant.
We just witnessed the greatest moment in Welsh history as an esport. It was absolutely incredible.
Overcome the biggest team to win the Intel Extreme Masters.